All right, so I may have made a mistake today. I may have started the daily Nipah before realizing I hit start stream. I did record it, and then I stopped recording and hit start streaming instead of just hitting start stream and continuing the recording. So now we get a 2-video daily Nipah. On top of the fact that I'm a dumbass. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my fucking God. Oh no. Hey there, Polly. Oh my fucking God, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I thought I hit start streaming, but then instead of hitting just start, I stopped the video and just started it again. Oh boy, what a morning. What a start. Okay, well, we are, 34th. Okay, so we weren't too many fates in. What's up, Pusher? What's up, Bob? A knee pair? Oh. A Nini pair. A panini? Whoa. Are paninis just 22s? What the fuck? Oh, anyway. Sorry, I'll put out the first video as well, but the next video is gonna be me actually streaming and, believe it or not, me actually recording the Daily Need. But what's going on, oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, so we were Neeping. I was going on about how UFO 50 is going to be a blast today, because we're going to be playing Val Brace most likely, and we're trying to get the Cherry and Campanella. God damn it, dude. Doesn't matter how much you stream, doesn't matter how much you do something, you're still bound to fuck it up one way or the other, and that's fine. That's fine. At least I was recording the early Daily Nipah to put it up on YouTube, and not much was missed. And if everything was flawless. Would be boring, everything would be funny if everything was boring. See, you can put that in a few different spots in that sentence, Busher. Would be boring if everything was flawless, makes sense. Would be funny if everything was boring, makes sense. Would be funny if boring was flawless, also makes sense. Kind of. I'm reaching a little bit on the third one, but still. But yeah. Sometimes you're just a big goof. And that's okay. We got our little mouse-nosed Rika here. A little adorable little explosive gal that we have. The bestest kind of ambiguity. Yeah, maybe. Oh, man. I was looking up, because they were talking some NES stuff in one of the Discords I'm in. And it made me look up my old Final Fantasy II speedrun, and I was like, holy Jesus, this was 6 years ago. That's kind of wild to me. Rika is the bomb. Someone set us up the bomb, and they were talking about Rika that day. It's clearly a reference to Rika Furude. La 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 la. Adorable Rika. But yeah, I was looking at my old Final Fantasy II video, and I don't know. There's always that deep part of my soul that just loves that speedrunning thing, but it has to be ready for it. I've tried coming back to like speedrun a few times, just in general, and every single time it's kind of right back out the window. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna push it. Not gonna push it. The last time I pushed it, I ended up not streaming for like almost a whole year because I literally burnt out. And that's okay. Like, I think I had to go through that whole situation to come out the other side a lot better anyway. It hurt me for a long time. I was very saddened and, like, defeated feeling. But then I realized it's really not that big of a deal. Like, sure, I missed a while of streaming, but I like streaming more now. I don't have as big of an audience as I did, but I'm happier at the end of the day. You know? Like, I found a nice groove for myself, where speedrunning is still there, and streaming is still there. It wasn't even speedrunning in general that was like... It was me feeling the need to push myself to continue speedrunning, to try to make it more of a financial stability situation, but it's just not me. Like, I don't have the brain to sit there and do that. Play 1 or 2 or like 5 different games for years on end, he says, as plays XCOM every day. You know what I mean. It just, like, it's also the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's also, there's actually a lot of mental strain that can come with speedrunning, and I'm not talking about, like, the idea of streaming it or just going through the process of it, but having to reroute a new game all the time is a lot of extra work. And while I really, really do enjoy doing that, like, Mortal 2 was unbelievably fun to go through that game. That was one of the best speedrunning times I've had in a long time. When I was doing things like the NES Blitz, like, there were some days I would learn like 3 new games in a single day, and that's fun, and I love doing it, but it's tiring. It's mentally very tiring. And then on top of that, needing to do like 8+ hours a day, bar none, I think that's not sustainable. It's just not. But once again, I feel like none of these were mistakes necessarily. It was more of me finding my limits and understanding myself as an NB human being. Yeah, there's a 4 house. And not so much as just this person who streams, you know? There was a lot of deep diving into my own personal headspace for a while there, so that, at the end, it was probably better that I went through that process than I didn't go through that process. Maybe is what it counts. Glad, yeah. Thank you, Busher. It's true. It really is. I never got into streaming because I was like, oh, look at all the big bucks I'm going to get. I got into streaming because I like playing games and sharing my experiences with people. I got into the speedrunning community because, fuck, that shit was fun. And I started watching speedrunners on Twitch is how it really got started. somebody nobody here is gonna know. Maybe a couple. Primal85 was one of the first streamers I remember watching. He was speedrunning Mega Man 5. Feasel, which most people will know if they're any part of the community, was also another one I started watching. That and Andy, or And4H, who was doing Bubble Bobble at the time. Feasel was doing... What was Feasel doing at the time? Was it Zelda 2? It might have been a Zelda 2 time. Hey, Kraken. Good morning. Yeah, Push It to the Limit is a fun song, but not a fun con. No. Do not do that to yourself. If you have any kind of control, just do not. I know a lot of us are kind of forced into situations where we have to exceed our limits, and that's really depressing. But if you have any kind of hold on that, by all means, make sure you're thinking about yourself. It's not narcissistic to think about yourself and need healthy things for yourself. It's healthy. It's narcissism when you start pushing it over everyone else's needs and just start being like, oh, it's all about me, blah, 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 blah. I think there's been an unhealthy mental aspect in connection between people and their own bodies because of how much society has impacted our mental way of being. I think we're just a lot more than we ever give ourselves credits for. Like, if you're always trying to attain, like, Hollywood standards or society standards, you're doing yourself such a disservice. Like, there's so many just cool, fun things in the world, you know? That was a cool roll, by the way. 444-222. 22484. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a straight. And it pains me, you know. Like, I do it myself. Like, I am no better. You know, you see somebody, a friend of yours, saying something negative about themselves or something. You're like, man, why would you say that? Like, nobody thinks that. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, God, I'm the biggest piece of shit ever. Why would anybody like me? Like, it's very human. Well, it's very human because of how humans have dictated this is how we're going to treat each other. But as long as you understand that bullshit applies to yourself as well, and you shouldn't really have these feelings bringing you down so harshly. And again, a lot of experience with not being able to help it. I'm there with you. It's about getting to that point where you can forgive yourself and can see yourself in a positive light, the way other people see you, you know? And I think it is important. I think it is important to key in on what those around you are saying. It's the little things that always matter. And I just like to keep reminding people that, you know? You're not a failure. You're not alone. Even if it feels that way. Give yourself some credit, you know? You do a lot of shit in a day. I guarantee you most humans were never meant to do as much in a day as humans are forced to do in a day now. Which is another reason why humanity is suffering such mental lapses, breaks, and concerns. So again, don't overwork yourself. It ain't worth it. Unless you're forced in those situations, in which case, I'm so sorry. But at the same time, it's also okay to bury yourself in your work sometimes. if that's what's going to help you clear your mind a little bit, that's okay too. It's just about finding what release, um, what you can focus on to help yourself, mixed with what you can steadily release mentally to kind of get the fog out of your brain, out of your daily life, out of conversations you're having, out of not doing or not saying the things you want to say. And it's still one of the hardest things for me ever. Like, communicating for me is not easy. It isn't. It never has been. And it's not something I really talk about too much as in a pure base of communication. But because I've been streaming for so long, it's just easier for me to do it here now. But in person, I'm awful. Like, I struggle with, like, messaging people. I struggle with just trying to maintain, relationships in that aspect. But it's something I'm also working on and trying my best. Even if it's not easy, it's still worth it. And I like pushing myself in that regard. Something that's a healthy push to hopefully better, myself in that aspect. And really become, more communicative in my everyday life. What's up, Karma? People is hard for me a lot of the time. Yeah, absolutely. Again, being cheery, being positive and happy is a great thing, but if you're not feeling it, don't push it. Just don't. Just be how you feel, and that's okay. The moment will pass. You gotta not hold your feelings back is a big thing. One of the biggest things I've learned in therapy throughout the years is actually just speaking your mind, being honest, not holding yourself back from things that interest you, not taking chances, because that's another thing you get really scared of. And that's kind of where I sit most days, but damn, 100 Fates went quick. But it's just a learning experience. Like, even at my age, I'm still learning all the time. I never really got proper, let's say, mental evaluation for my mental state when I was younger, so I had to learn to cope with a lot of different tools in life, which I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir at this point. I've always had immense trouble with eye contact. I have trouble with just regular conversation with people. My anxiety just skyrockets when I'm in those situations, and it's hard to get over. And honestly, the internet has kind of been a perfect place for me to get a lot of the overall communication practice in my life, or not just practice, just evolving relationships with people by becoming better at communicating with them. Oh, that's a pretty high roll. Hey, not bad, Rika, not bad. And eye contact is scary because then I know they're looking at me, and that can't be pleasant for them. Ah, please. You silly goose. That's entirely wrong, and you know it. But I know, just eye contact in general is something that just haunts me with I can do it. Like, it depends. I have to be comfortable with the person slash people's. Like, if I'm comfortable with someone, a lot of these issues kind of fade away a little bit, and I can just kind of think. And when I can think, I can actually formulate decent thoughts and sentences and stuff like that, and actually help, again, get my own feelings out there and just have the ability to conversate and be human with people that I like, that people have like-minded interests. Woo! Oh my god, so close. Nied. Access denied. Wow, that's a convoluted amount of references. But yeah, we all suffer from something like that one way or the other. And I try not to look back on things anymore as, why was I so dumb to do that? Why was I so stupid? And I just try to learn to, one, not call myself these things, because it's honestly really bad for you to constantly talk down about yourself to yourself, whether it's in your own head or not. That's a lot of negative impact on yourself. You may not be understanding that you're doing to yourself. I did that for years without even realizing it. But just healthy expression is basically the subject at hand here. And maintaining healthy standards for that. And honestly, once you can find some sort of balance, it's really not so bad. Like, a lot of these struggles I've had literally since I can remember memories, Like, these are things I've just lived with. And it took me years to even explain it to, like, my psych at first was like, I don't think you're autistic. And I was like, okay, that's, maybe she's onto something. I went to a, like, an autistic specialist, and then he said, I don't think so as well. And then, like, as I kept talking to my psych, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it does apply, even if it doesn't come across on this certain test. Like, I still feel like there's something that just doesn't click in my brain, and I need to talk about this stuff. And she's like, yeah, okay, of course, I believe you. And one of the nicest things she said was really, you have an unconventional brain, so it needs unconventional treatment. And that kind of resonated a little bit. So I have been looking for a specific therapist ever since. But that's the thing, like, it's all part of the process. Like, you just figure these things out as you go. Sure, it'd have been great to figure these things out 20 years ago. But that's not always the case, and that's fine. That's another thing society pushes us too much to. Like, if you get past the age of 20, like, suddenly you can't do anything anymore. Like, that is a massive unhealthy mindset yet again. We don't need those kind of mindsets in life. I want to be 60 and streaming video games, Doesn't make a goddamn difference to me. I just want to have fun with the things that make me happy, with the people that make me happy. That's the beginning. That's the end of it. Oh, the never. I'm also currently at the phase to apparently get the one kind of help I actually needed. Yeah. What's up, X-Gemini, by the way? Yeah, sometimes it just takes a while, Sometimes that shit just takes a while. But yeah, Like, I love speedrunning. I still love speedrunning. But that's kind of what happened, you know, through the whole series of events for 2020 and beyond. And I just kind of collapsed mentally, and I needed time off. And figured myself out, and here we go. I'll let you did a lot of progress in the last 10 to 20 years, something years in terms of neurodiversity. Yes. I believe mental health has come an exceedingly far way in the last 20 years compared to what it was. If anything, one of my friends, she didn't get looked at properly for her mental, for the way her brain operated. It still operates to this day. She kind of got ignored or just misdiagnosed, like, constantly growing up, and I mean, honestly, I could see why you'd be very bitter about stuff like that, but she still, like, she never stopped. She got the therapy and stuff that she needed and stuff, and the medications and stuff, and, like, it's an ongoing thing, you know? People get the wrong treateds in there, and, like, you know, it's just that ends up coming home and, like, rooting in your brain, and it's just like, that's not you, you know? That's not you. I see. That's not you. Yes. I actually specifically requested a psych that was both female and somebody who was, like, a little bit younger, because I feel like a lot of the younger generation that's coming up, like, she's probably about my age. Like, it's not like she's young. But, I wanted somebody who would get it, you know? I wanted somebody who had at least some kind of understanding. Or, ooh, answer roll. Last one, Rika. Can we get something good, Rika? Give it, Rika. Let's give it, Rika. Fuck. All right, well, 10,200 fates in. Looks like we're still a little short on the miracle for old Rika here. But the good news is we only have about 37,000 more rolls to go for the average Nipah of 6s. But once again, this has been a really fun early daily Nipah. If you'd like to join in, socksmakepeoplesexy.itch.io. Please download it. Trying to get to 1,000 downloads by the end of the year. Also, lots of other great games. Next time, indeed, Rika. Thank you, Rika. Thank you, Polly, for making this possible. And next time, another 200 fates. Anything's possible. YouTubers, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. I want you to have the best days that you can coming forward. The vibes, they're positive. Have a great rest of your day.